like a weird question to ask to increase your confidence? Welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. I am so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you. Truly, truly grateful. I know some of you have been listening for years and years, and I just send a big hug to all of you, whether it's years and years or this is the first one or whatever it may be. I'm just so incredibly grateful. So, a weird question to ask to boost your confidence. And this is actually 𝘗𝘗𝘰𝘨𝘳𝘠. He came up with this idea of affirmations instead of affirmations. And I have always loved them. Now, if you have been a long-time listener, you might have heard me speak with 𝘗𝘗𝘰𝘨𝘳𝘠 back in July of 2013. Yeah, over 10 years ago. Holy. Yeah, that was one of my very first podcasts that I did. It was I invited him on the show. I was shocked when he said yes, and I'm just so grateful. So affirmations are turning something into a question. And it's got an energy of an affirmation. You know, an affirmation is something, we usually state it as something we would like. You know, I am toned and sexy or something like that. What 𝘗𝘗𝘰𝘨𝘳𝘠 has found to be way more effective, myself included, is to turn it into a question. Because what happens is our brain is always searching for the questions that we ask, always. It's just unfortunate because most times we're asking questions that we don't want answered. Why am I not toned? Why am I not sexy? Those are not questions you want your brain to be putting energy into figuring out, my sweet friends. Let's ask the questions we would like. And here's the question that I want to give you, that from the whole title of this, right? The question to be confident as fuck. Why am I always so confident? Why am I always so confident? Why is confidence so easy for me? Why do I always feel so confident in every situation? You get the idea? Now, notice that, okay? Let's do this and do this with me. I am confident. I am confident. Now, for me, there's a little bit of an expansion with that, absolutely. But it comes back down. So there's an expansion and then it clunks in again. Try this. Why am I always so confident? Like that, to me, there's such an expansiveness, such a lightness. It always makes me giggle. Why am I always so confident? Or, of course, if you like my terminology, why am I always confident as fuck? Because I love that. I just had a woman today. I'm just in a different online class today. I'm attending it. And I was just sharing the title of my course, and she said, I don't know what AF is. Would the people who would be taking the course know what it is? I'm like, yep, they sure would. So AF, confident as fuck. So this is also an invitation, guys. Come and play. We've got the Confident as Fuck 5 weeks to crushing imposter syndrome and truly succeeding in business and life. Come and play. We start in January. Of course, if you're listening to this later or watching this later, however you're consuming this, it'll be recorded also, so check it out. But that's really what we're looking for, is that turning it into an affirmation. For me, gives it this lightness, gives us this expansiveness. Now I'm now giving my brain something to do, something to figure out. Why am I always confident as fuck? Where we will start receiving the evidence continuously, because that's what we're asking for. Our brain will constantly find the answers. So let's start asking the questions that we would like answered. Why am I always so confident as fuck? Why is confidence so easy for me? Why does confidence come so naturally for me? Now, one of the bonuses for the Confident as Fuck program is the list of like the top 10 of the doubts or the limitations that we have with this sort of stuff and how to turn those into affirmations. So if that's something you'd like, go check out the bonuses. There's Another really cool one, it's a whole calendar for every day in 2024. There's an actionable step to build your confidence. And then of course, there is a confident as fuck energetic exercise. So go check those all out. But this is really what we want to be doing, is turning these things into questions so that we are actually putting our creative energy into what we would like, which in this case is being more confident. So again, noticing that when we state, I am confident, not as much energy, at least not for me, as why am I always so confident? Why is confidence so easy for me? I just love the energy of those. And when we're looking at building something, so in this case, building confidence, this is not something you do once and expect it to change everything dynamically 100%. I'm not saying it can't. It's just, if you've struggled with doubt, if you've struggled with lack of confidence, chances are you have asked certain questions that you probably didn't want answers to for years and years and years. So it will take some time to shift it. I don't mean it will take years and years and years. I just mean it's going to take some time. So you could even be writing down some affirmations so that when you are spinning in the doubt, spinning in the frustration, spinning in the unworthiness, the lack of, that you've got some go-tos right there. You don't have to, in that heavy energy, try to figure out what an affirmation is, because sometimes that heavy energy is going to contribute to us staying in that heavy energy. So having some on hand, or maybe a note on your phone or something like that, is a great idea. And it can be just simple, where you could just basically do the opposite. If you're asking, why am I failing in business? Why am I succeeding in business? Why is business success so natural for me? So we could just, take it to the complete opposite. It kind of is going to depend how far down the rabbit hole you are with the spinning in the doubt and the limitations, to know if you can shift it on your own, or if you're going to maybe need kind of an outside resource or something like that. But it'll just give you that idea that, there is a way to shift it. There is a way to change it in that moment. And if this sort of stuff interests you, you may be interested in my ultimate confidence cheat sheet for entrepreneurs, where I've got 5 proven ways to stop spinning in doubt and start feeling confident as fuck. So that is a freebie. The link will be above or below. If you don't see a link, just reach out and I'll get it for you. Would love to have you have that, so that you have that resource. You have a resource that's right there. And of course, affirmations is one of those, because that's how magical I think that they are. That's how magical they are. Not that I think, that they actually are. So of course, with affirmations, you can use them anytime throughout the day as required. You also might want to start your day with some, and maybe at, intervals throughout the day, just to get into that habit of asking those questions, especially since they can seem a little bit silly or a little bit bizarre, so to speak, because of the wording of them. Like, why am I always, feeling confident, or why is confidence so easy for me? That's a little bit of maybe a bizarre question that we're used to, because we're used to being like, why do I not have any confidence? Why am I, so unworthy? Like we're so used to asking those heavy questions. So it might take some muscle building, so to speak, to get you into asking these affirmations. So with that, myself, I've always found just getting in the habit. How can you create that habit? So I have spoke at length for years about how I create habits, and my favorite way is, of course, the reminder app on my phone. This pops up, at a certain time, whatever I've set it for, ask this affirmation, or it could just say, affirmations. I don't necessarily have to have a specific one I ask all the time, but just something to get you in the habit of creating the habit of asking. And then what occurs with that is you will start to notice that becomes more of your set point than the doubt and the distraction and the upset and the frustration and all of that. But it takes us with what I often call that tenacity. The tenacity to be like, you know what? Yes, I'm doing this no matter what. And the other thing that I talk a lot about is familiar energy. And so familiar energy to me is if you've spent most of your life doubting and feeling unworthy and in frustration and all of that, that's a very familiar energy. So when we add something like this, like asking affirmations that could assist us to change that familiar energy, sometimes we resist it because of the familiar energy is so familiar. Imagine that. But it's so much more valuable because we're so familiar with it. We're so comfortable with it. So this is where the tenacity comes in. This is where how can you create it as a habit? This is where, for me, the reminder app popping up to remind me. You could use sticky notes. It doesn't matter. But what do you need to do? What action can you take to shift that familiar energy, to go beyond the comfort of that familiar energy into what you would actually like? And that's something you've got to look for yourself. And it does take the tenacity. But let me tell you guys, it is so worth it. It is so worth it to change it and to actually be feeling confident more than you're not. That's magic, my sweet friend. So would love to have you come and play in January. Again, the Confident as Fuck program. And then, of course, there's the freebie guide you can go download. Links are above or below. Have a great week. I look forward to chatting again next week.